Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Monday, the 23rd day of March. This is CTV News. Tonight, tale of the tape, seeking suspects in a damaging hit and run. A new report offers suggestions on tackling the growing homeless crisis in Moncton. And hitting the mat, taking in Atlantic Canada's largest cheerleading event.
Live from our Maritime's News Centre, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a stunning piece of video depicting a hit-and-run incident in the Halifax area. A number of cars were heavily damaged in the parking lot of an apartment complex. The owner of one of the vehicles is thankful nobody was injured, but hopes police can figure out who's responsible. Here's CTV's Callum Smith with the exclusive interview and a look at the damage after the fact.
Luckily captured by a dash cam, it's the only footage Josh Kersey has of his vehicle getting smashed into by a white Ford Escape. It was a domino effect with at least 2 other vehicles damaged there. Watching it back, he's left in disbelief.
I don't understand how someone could have been driving at that speed and coming around that turn on the sidewalk.
The vehicle then backs into another car. After the collision, those inside get out of the SUV, stunned by what happened. One leaves carrying what appears to be a bong. The crash remnant's still there today, as is one of the vehicles that was hit. But Kersey didn't even know that it happened the night of. It was only the next morning when his girlfriend was heading to work.
She gave me a call and just said, "Where's my car?" I thought she was joking.
It took multiple calls to the property management company.
They started talking about, well, when we saw the video, and I said, well, okay, pause. You guys have a video. Could you please send it to me or something? Can I see what had happened to my vehicle that everyone seems to know about, but no one told me?
It was just this loud bang. Like, we honestly thought it was the garbage truck, but then we looked at the time and it's like, they're not emptying the garbage at 9 o'clock at night. So I immediately ran to the window to see what it might have been.
As for police, no call until more than 24 hours later to say that Kersey's vehicle was in a collision and had been towed. Today, Kersey's Elantra sits at an impound lot while the investigation is ongoing. Halifax police say when officers responded, the occupants of the Escape had fled. HRP later arrested a 17-year-old along the nearby Bedford Highway. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
15-year-old from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, will remain in custody after a court appearance today. Online, police allege the teen discussed coordinated school attacks in 2 provinces with a 14-year-old boy out in Manitoba. Investigators say they found some written plans and imitation weapons after they searched a home. The case today was adjourned until next month. Multiple agencies have been searching for a missing man in Colchester County, Nova Scotia, since yesterday. Police say 47-year-old Jason Lorette was reported missing on Friday. Ground search and rescue teams from 3 counties, as well as civilian and RCMP aircraft, have all been involved in the search. The Mounties have brought in police dogs to the area as well. Pressure on the Houston government continues to build at Province House. 4 days of public hearings on Bill 148 began today. The omnibus legislation includes everything from changes to vaping and tobacco legislation to electric vehicle taxes. Still, a lot of the presenters today wanted to focus on the recent budget.
And I would ask the committee and all MLAs to vote against the budget and to support developing a new budget.
You're here talking about the budget. This is the Financial Measures Act. So like pulling back the budget and other suggestions like that are not really in order for this committee.
Opposition parties arguing the public should have a chance to speak on the budget. In New Brunswick, Susan Holt is nearing the halfway mark through her promise to establish 30 collaborative care units across the province. The 14th clinic of its type will be expanded in St. Andrews at a cost of $1.7 million. Despite concerns about the budget deficit there, with an aging population and aging infrastructure, the Premier insists this is money that must be spent.
Sometimes it can be tricky to get the efficiencies that you want out of those systems because people deserve care close to home. But we know that this is what New Brunswickers need and deserve.
We expect a return on our investment. $30 million this year, $30 million next year, $30 million last year. And the return we will get will be healthier New Brunswickers that are not going to the emergency departments.
Officials say the expanded clinic means everyone in town will have access to a healthcare provider. One aspect of the recent New Brunswick budget that isn't sitting well is with livestock producers in the province. A provincial veterinarian program is being chopped as the province tries to rein in its $1.4 billion deficit. Here's CTV's Laura Brown on what that could mean for roughly 5,000 farmers in New Brunswick.
In their 28 years of dairy farming, the Howes have had several cows require a cesarean section, sometimes in the middle of the night. And they knew a large animal veterinarian awake and ready for their call.
These aren't just veterinarians to us, we've become friends with them. They know our herds. They know us.
The veterinarians she's referring to are employed by the provincial government, specialized in large animal medicine and stationed across New Brunswick. Only Newfoundland and Labrador have a similar service. The rest of the country has private vets. And while farmers pay for each visit, it still costs the province about $4 million a year.
You've struck a devastating blow to the heart of New Brunswick's agriculture community.
New Brunswick recently revealed a historic $1.4 billion deficit in its budget, claiming cuts are necessary to combat it. On the chopping block, the Provincial Veterinary Service.
We called and they basically said, what do you want us to do? And I said, I want you to come save Betty's life. And they were here, I think, 45 minutes.
Betty, the sheep, was saved that day, just weeks after Tim Clancy moved his animal sanctuary from Ontario to New Brunswick. He had only ever worked with private veterinarians, some, he says, who never showed up when called. Clancy is adamant. He'd pay more if it means saving the service.
I think most of us would probably say that's better than no coverage at all.
But commercial farms make up less than a third of the calls to the provincial vets, says the agriculture minister. The rest are hobby or horse farms. The plan is to see the service phased out over 3 years and taken over by the private sector.
Healthcare is important for everybody in New Brunswick, even for our animals.
And farmers worry it won't be the same. Laura Brown, CTV News, Burton, New Brunswick.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A judge is expected to rule in June on a proposed settlement for a class action lawsuit involving the crash landing of an Air Canada flight in Halifax more than a decade ago. Air Canada Flight 624 from Toronto struck some power lines during a snowstorm at Halifax Stanfield. This was March of 2015. The plane landed about 200 meters short of the runway. 25 of the 133 passengers on board were injured. The hearing for the lawsuit scheduled for June 22nd. The proposed settlement amounts to more than $18 million. The lead lawyer, Ray Wagner, you saw a moment ago, says it's coincidental. The notice was issued a day after that fatal accident involving an Air Canada jet and a fire truck in New York. New Brunswickers at high risk of severe COVID illness will be eligible for a second dose of the most recent vaccine. That starts on April the 7th. The Provincial Health Department says those eligible include people aged 65 or older, immune-compromised people older than 6 months, and seniors who live in facilities. For those who are eligible, health officials recommend waiting at least 3 months between the first and second doses of the most recent vaccine. To Moncton now, where a pair of retired men who share a passion to help the homeless are hoping a new report may make a difference in the hub city. Here's CTV's Derek Haggett.
We hope that the report will create the action needed.
John Wishart and Dale Hicks have come up with actions, not recommendations, to address the homelessness crisis in Moncton. There were 570 people experiencing chronic homelessness in the city last month.
My sense is that the community in the province is either reaching or has reached the point where they realize some concrete steps have to be taken.
Moncton is clearly the community that is the most impacted by homelessness in the province. They have the highest numbers.
Actions include finding a new location for the provincially funded homeless hub located in a former senior center. Another, making community safety officers special constable peace officers, given authority for non-criminal code violations. The province says they're looking into that.
What powers, the police powers, under what legislation they might be authorized to act, whether they're holding weapons or not, what training they might have.
Also, a government top-up program to ensure frontline staff are making at least a living wage.
To think that our staff are working front lines at a poverty rate or below the poverty line, supporting people in poverty, I just think that's where we need to go, and we need to have those funding in place for our team.
Maybe there's some outside voices like John and mine that can try to bridge some of the conversations between the levels of government and the community and try to move some things forward, I guess. So.
The next step, a leadership council to put those action requests to work. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
A new kindergarten to grade 8 school is planned for the east end of Moncton. Fairview Knoll School will combine the Forest Glen and Sunny Brae schools into one, giving students a space to build what the province calls a strong sense of community. The $96.5 million institution is expected to hold about 1,000 students. Construction could start next year with a planned opening date estimated for about 2030. It was a big night for professional women's soccer in Halifax.
We're proud to introduce the 2026 Halifax Tides FC roster. Number 7.
The Halifax Tides hosting their 2026 kit reveal at Pier 21 tonight. The color, by the way, teal. Attendees had an opportunity to buy their own limited edition gear this evening. We also learned tonight there are 11 new players this season, along with 11 familiar faces returning. The Tide, by the way, are said to have the world's highest attendance for women's soccer. How about that? The season begins April 25th with the Tides hosting Ottawa at the Wanderers grounds. All right, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll take you to a welcome home event for Olympian Courtney Sareau. 4 medals, remember that? Coming up next, though, a growing crisis.
The fuel blockade that the Trump administration brought into effect means that there's no fuel. There's been no fuel in Cuba.
Cuba continues to strain under the weight of an American blockade, and it's impacting Maritimers who want to help. That's next. Stay with us.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. What would your 20-year-old self be shocked to learn about you now? We're talking about it tomorrow at 7.
And win your share of Aaron and Peter's $10,000 payroll. Register at move100halifax.ca.
While the attention of much of the world remains locked in the Middle East right now, there is ongoing misery in Cuba. Widespread fuel shortages have led to even more power blackouts, and that in turn is making it challenging and far more difficult for Canadians who just want to help. Here's CTV's Vanessa Wright.
Parts of Cuba left in the dark this week as blackouts come and go, leaving some areas with no electricity for days.
The situation in Cuba is desperate. There's a humanitarian crisis at the moment. The fuel blockade that the Trump administration brought into effect means that there's no fuel. There's been no fuel in Cuba since the very first week of January.
The shortage making an already difficult healthcare situation that much harder. And while Canadian relief organizations are ready to offer a helping hand, they're being hindered by the lack of fuel.
Gas is now up to $8 per liter, and we have to take that into consideration. We are still managing to do our work. We are still delivering aid. We're still delivering food, but we don't know how long that can last with the shortage of fuel.
Canadian James Crow and his wife spend 6 months out of the year in Cuba. With all the uncertainty, a hope the federal government will step in.
The Canadian government has given $8 million so far to help Cuba. That's about $1 a person in Cuba. It's not much. The Canadian government needs to be lobbied, needs to provide more food, more aid and fuel.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for a quick little break here, but when we come back, it's your complete maritime weather forecast. Feels more like February out there than March, doesn't it? Kaylin Mitchell will tell us what to expect for the rest of the week when we come back. Monday night, 23rd day of March today. The disappointment around here was palatable. Did you know? Like with the snow, and everyone else seems to be getting all the spring-like weather.
Oh, you mean because there was snow falling around the Maritimes?
Well, yeah, the two might be connected, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, we're into spring now. It's not everybody's favorite weather when we move into the spring season, but it certainly can happen here in the Maritimes. It was kind of that typical spring snow as well, Bruce, where it melted on some surfaces like roads, and then other areas like tree branches, some of the lawns, for example, decks, the top of cars. That's where it added up a little bit more. Now, that being said, for tonight, because there's still some snow making its way through eastern parts of the Maritimes, and because we have some low temperatures tonight that are going to be below the freezing mark, be careful about some slippery spots developing. The spring snow brought on by this low pressure system that's actually on its way up towards Newfoundland, and expected to have more significant impacts to Newfoundland, where a number of winter storm warnings have been posted because of it. Here's what's left for us here in the Maritimes. We take a look at our timeline now. Most of the region is down to a chance of flurries for the remainder of tonight, where the flurries and some snow is going to still be a little bit more persistent into the overnight, into the start of the day for tomorrow. And this will be part of the Maritimes, where maybe there's a higher chance of some snowy roads being around to start Tuesday. Right around the east of Nova Scotia, parts of Guysborough County, Antigonish County, and into Cape Breton. And in fact, for that part of Nova Scotia, they will remain with some scattered flurries even into and through Tuesday afternoon, whereas much of the rest of the region will be over to a mix of sun and cloud. Now, winds for tomorrow, they're going to be blustery. They'll be mostly out of the north. They are going to have some gusts, though, fairly widespread between 20 and 50 kilometers per hour, and even some higher wind gusts possible around eastern areas of Nova Scotia, especially moving into Cape Breton, where some of the peak winds right around the coast and at higher terrain could be up between 50 and 70 kilometers per hour. Now, low temperatures tonight for the Maritimes in a lot of cases will be falling a few to several degrees below zero, even colder than that through northern areas of New Brunswick, which stayed out of this snow, but they'll have some low temperatures there tonight between around -9 and -14. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick. There's some recovery into the afternoon. The highs up between 1 and 3 degrees. Still, I would describe it as a bit of a chilly late March day. High temperatures down through central and southern parts of the province, mostly between 0 and 4 degrees. Definitely chilly for Prince Edward Island for tomorrow. Most communities will have a high of around -1 or -2, including -1 at Charlottetown and -2 at Montague. In Cape Breton tomorrow, the high temperatures mostly between -1 and -3, and between 0 and -2 for the eastern shore and north shore of Nova Scotia. Central parts of the province, including Halifax County, can mostly expect high temperatures between -1 and +1. Moving down the south shore, Bridgewater near 2 degrees, 3 for Shelburne, 1 for Yarmouth, and in the Annapolis Valley for tomorrow, near 2 around Kentville, Wolfville. Same thing goes for Middleton, and near +1 for Digby. Taking a look at the extended forecast, beginning first with New Brunswick. Coming up on Wednesday, it's going to be a mix of sun and cloud. Another mixture of some flurries and showers coming in Thursday into Friday of this week, and actually a risk of a little bit of freezing rain on Friday. The temperatures turn much colder Friday night into the start of the weekend on Saturday, remaining chilly for Sunday with a chance of flurries, and Monday a mix of sun and cloud. For Nova Scotia in the forecast over the next couple of days, isolated flurries. It's mostly a chance for flurries up around the North Shore and in Cape Breton. Showers in the forecast for Thursday, followed by some rain into Friday, and then a big drop in temperatures Friday night into Saturday, remaining colder through the weekend, and then a chance of some flurries on Sunday. And for Prince Edward Island in the outlook, we have some flurries in the forecast for Wednesday, highs near 3 degrees. A mixture of flurries and showers on Thursday turns over to some rain on Friday. As that rain clears out, though, temperatures turn cold for the start of the weekend on Saturday, followed by a chance of flurries on Sunday. Bruce.
Thank you, my friend. Wake-up weather still to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
A month after becoming a household name in her home province, Moncton's Courtney Sereau was celebrated by her whole community this weekend. CTV's Avery McRae was there too.
Seen her on TV, watching her to cheer her on, and I'm so proud of her.
Henry was one of many Moncton residents eager for the chance to meet 4-time Olympic medalist Courtney Sereau. The 25-year-old became a household name during the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games last month in Italy, taking home 2 bronze and 2 silver medals in short track speed skating.
My favorite comment when when anyone holds one is like, "Oh my gosh, it's so heavy." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the real deal."
For nearly 2 hours, Sauro met and took pictures with residents, leaving a lasting impact on fans of all ages.
Like, congratulations for her medals, and she said thank you.
It was fantastic. It's a great event to have her come down here and have a chance to meet her and say congratulations.
Since Sauro's Olympic success, speed skating in the province has seen an uptick in interest, which is good news for her former team, the Kodiak Cyclones.
We see a lot of excitement, and we see a lot of people that want to come and try the long blade skate.
Everyone's just being so warm and welcoming, and it's really nice to come back to my community.
Ava McRae, CTV News, Moncton.
Thank you, Courtney. Well, time for one final break here. Coming up is something to cheer about, literally. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at the Armdale Roundabout in Halifax, the aerial view. -3 right now. Kaylin's wake-up weather is coming up next.
Move Mornings with Aaron and Peter. Weekday mornings on Move 100. The most fun in the morning. And home of the $1,000 minute. Only on Move 100 Halifax.
Okay, Tuesday morning upon us now, 24th day of March. Let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather. And Kaylin.
Yeah, so a colder start to Tuesday for the Maritime. So we want to be careful about some slick spots on the road, especially for the province of Nova Scotia and mainly in the east, where there is still expected to be some accumulating snow tonight and maybe some scattered flurries for other parts of that province. Moving into the afternoon, it's mostly a mix of sun and cloud around the Maritime. Daytime high temperatures ranging from a few degrees below to a few degrees above zero. And there will continue to be a chance of flurries around the east of Nova Scotia, including the North Shore and Cape Breton. Bruce.
Thank you, sir. Well, you could probably hear it anywhere in the Maritimes this weekend, but Atlantic Canada's largest cheerleading event took place in Halifax. Featured more than 100 teams with athletes of all ages. But as CTV's Emma Convey shows us tonight, the tournament was really about much more than just winning.
Hundreds of cheerleaders hit the mats this weekend at Atlantic Canada's largest cheerleading event, Cheer Expo.
We have 122 teams, and it's a variety of ages. So we have starting at U6, which is under 6, so like 4, 5, 6-year-olds on those teams, right up until open, which is ages 17 plus. And you could be as old as you want to be. If you want to be 85 and still do it, you can.
This year, 86 teams came from out of town, even as far as Alberta. It's significant, a qualifier tournament.
The tournament has a lot of opportunities for bids to go to international events outside of our normal province and our country. So this event gives out bids to the IASF Cheerleading Worlds, which takes place in Florida, as well as super bids, which can be used in different countries across Europe, and also has bids to the AIA Global Tournament, which is a new tournament taking place in Montreal this summer.
Whether the team's focus is tumbling, dance, stunts, gymnastics, or acrobatics, just competing at this event is exciting for these athletes.
Been trying to get for a couple years now is Max Out Award, and so we're trying to get that, and then there's Judge's Choice, there's like specialty awards.
They just help us not just with cheer, with life.
Win or lose, at the end of the day, personal goals are the most important.
Try to do my best.
Come out off the mat with a smile on your face.
Each one taking these new skills off the mat into life. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Emma. That is our program for this Monday night, Tuesday morning. A reminder, ctvnewsatlantic.ca, updates right around the clock. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us this evening. Have a good night. We sure hope to see you again tomorrow.